What's going on, guys? Got another update for you. And as you can see, we're pretty much starting to look like a machine here. Unfortunately, I still am waiting on some parts and pieces. Hopefully I'm not sounding like a broken record. I've probably already mentioned this once or twice, but I checked the status of the steel and aluminum order I made. Actually, I think it was last night. And they're supposed to send out a shipping confirmation when it does ship, and as of this afternoon I hadn't seen one in my inbox. So they're kind of taking their sweet time on getting me my tool arm pieces and the rest of the stuff I need for the work rests and the flat platen. So I'm really hoping I see something by tomorrow morning. If not, I think I'm going to call them and see if I can maybe light a fire under them. I did get an email earlier in the week saying they were out of stock on a piece of angle that I had ordered to attach the flat platen itself to the pivoting part of the frame there. And I just asked them, they said they could substitute one just a little bit thicker, which really makes no difference. So I told them go ahead. And, I was kind of hoping that I'd get the shipping confirmation right after that, but I'm still waiting on that. So unfortunately, it'll be probably a little while before I can really get this thing completely done. But in the meantime, I do have the drive coming, or the VFD for the motor. It's coming in on Monday, if everything's still on schedule with that. I got the motor and the wheels today, so I was able to mount those, except for on the flat platen there. Those are my original Beaumont wheels. But these other wheels, the drive and the tracking, and then I got two other idlers over on the bench there. They came from an eBay seller, VW Jackstraw. Seemed to have some really nice quality wheels for a pretty good price, I thought. Ended up going with a 5-inch drive and a 4-inch tracking with 2-inch aluminum idlers for the flat platen and slack platen combo there. And overall, I think for the price, you really can't beat it. It's about $160 shipped. I think by the time you buy a tracking and a drive wheel from Beaumont, although they are really good quality, you're pretty much almost to your $160 there, if I remember. I think it's about $80 for a drive, $60 or so for a tracking. Maybe those prices are different or have changed, but not that they're not worth it, but, as far as I could tell, these wheels look like they're every bit as high quality as those. They feel good, the fit and finish is good, and I guess we'll see how they're balanced when we start spinning the thing. But, they appear to have been made on a CNC lathe, so I don't expect that I'll have any issues with them. One thing I really do like on this tracking wheel is it's got a really big bearing with a nice large inner race, and not only will that probably last a little bit longer anyway, but you can actually just bolt it directly to your frame. You don't need machine bushings to space off of the raceways there to keep from binding. And there's actually a spacer in between the inner and outer bearings that keep them from binding that way as well. So as far as I could tell, they appear to be very high quality, and seem to me to be very much worth the cost of admission there. As far as the motor, I went with a cheap Chinese 3-phase. Probably the only thing on this grinder that I really compromised on, just trying to keep the cost down a little bit. This ran about $166 from Automation Direct, and it had the specs that I wanted. Kind of the next model up, it was almost $100 more, if not a little bit steeper than that. So, I wanted something new, something I could get exactly how I wanted it. I could have waited around for surplus or, something to pop up elsewhere. But, there's something said about convenience, I guess. And we'll see how that lasts. Hopefully it does the job. If not, I'll suck it up and buy an American-made motor. But at any rate, it should do the job. And I think so far we're looking pretty good with things. Really no major issues or hangups to speak of. Right now it's just kind of a waiting game for parts. I did end up breaking, unfortunately, my spring plunger. It was binding up on the drill bushings just a little bit, so I tried to turn it out on the lathe, and there's really not much of a stem to hold up onto the chuck there. And I ended up snagging it somehow and snapped it off. I got a couple more of those on order, and that's my fault. I'm going to get some slightly bigger drill bushings next time, as there's much more options for those than the spring pins. And it's not that it didn't work, but it was just kind of binding a little bit more than I liked, and I wanted to adjust it and kind of screwed it up there. But that said, it works fine right now without it. I got it unlocked. It doesn't want to tilt or fall over in vertical mode, even with the counterbalance of the motor. Everything's actually balanced and weighted pretty well. And I got things just a little bit tight on the pivots, and that'll kind of break in and wear in as we go along. But, right now it's nice and easy to lay over. Easy to turn back up, and really happy with how that turned out. As for this 80-pound spring, we can actually put a belt on there. And actually my tool arms, I may be able to take an inch or two off of them, but this 18-inch tool arm actually worked out just about right. Maybe in the second slot it might be just a hair long, but the belt goes on nice and easy, nice and loose, and then it quickly and easily engages there. And actually I may even try ordering a 100-pound spring. If not even one, just a hair heavier than that, and see how I like that. This is so easy to engage. Not that I want to overdo it or anything, but I guess we'll see how this works. It seems like it's going to be all right. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So very happy with how that works. Time will tell how it holds up, but so far I've played with this several dozen times already, and it's still just as tight. The only thing is this handle itself's kind of loose right here. There's a set screw for this part. I actually need to mill a flat on there. It's just a round rod going into a set screw, so there's going to be some play there. If I mill a flat in there, that ought to take care of that. But it's really not that bad. Anyway, just a minor little improvement I can make. But yeah, very happy with how that works, and I think that'll track just fine. So wish I had a drive to run it right now. Unfortunately I don't, and it'll be a couple more days. So in the meantime, we still got plenty of minor stuff to take care of. Wiring up outlets, finishing out these knobs, whether I use them or not. I could still get pretty far on my flat platen assembly. I got the wheels and everything for that. I just need a tool arm really. And then of course the flat platen, which I think this one will actually fit on it. So I could probably use that too, but we'll see. We'll just wait and get everything and do it right. But so far so good. Really happy with the progress, and so far everything's looking to be better than expected. So that's it for the update, guys. Any questions, comments, please leave them below. Probably won't have too many more updates for you, until I actually get things wired up and spinning, and then maybe I could show some sparks on this thing. So that's it for now. We're going to call it a night. We'll see you guys.